So let me tell you something wild right now. I think Crawford should fight him right now if he's ever going to fight him. If he wants to, if Crawford has it in his mind
to fight Boots,
you might as well do it now.
I'd compare it to this. Jaron Ennis, Terence Crawford. Jaron Ennis is Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter. Terence Crawford's Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan.
There you go.
Perfect. A+A.
And if you just look at the highlight reels.
What about the Terence Crawford fight? I'm tired of answering questions about it. He already said millions of times that he not fighting me or looking my way, so I'm just tired of answering them questions, you know. And if a fight happened, it happened. You know, I wanted it to happen, but if not.
Jaron Ennis is done waiting. He's officially phoning Terence Crawford to meet him. At 154, the rising star thinks it's time to prove who actually leads the division. And he's ready to reveal Bud's hesitancy. And just as things were heating up, Eddie Hearn walked in with a phrase that stunned the entire boxing world. He went on, "Tell me a fight other than Crawford that you would really want to see profit and that is realistic." That single phrase from Hearn was like a spark in a room full of gasoline. It wasn't just a promotion. It was a clear challenge to the entire division, emphasizing that no other bout makes sense. Hearn made it plain that Crawford versus Ennis isn't only something fans desire. It's inevitable. The tone, timing, and confidence suggested that something was already in motion. It's the type of conversation that transforms rumors into facts, and you could feel the tension rising. All eyes are now on Crawford, because if he does not respond quickly, silence may speak louder than words. But just as supporters were getting excited about the showdown, Terence Crawford dashed their hopes. His words altered everything.
Consider going back down to 154 and face Jaron Ennis, the guy who prepared Canelo Alvarez for this fight.
No. I ain't going down 154.
Crawford's reaction halted the chatter in its tracks. Everyone thought was set to rule at 154, but Crawford has made it obvious that he will not go back for Ennis. That statement changed the narrative, leaving supporters wondering if it was a tactic or a hunch. Some claim he is preserving his legacy. Others believe he is avoiding the one boxer who is young and hungry enough to challenge him. In any case, it heightened an already intense competition. And now that he is being called out louder than ever before, the tension between the old guard and the new monarch has never been higher. Even Crawford's coach, Bulma, got involved, throwing fuel to the flames with his own take.
To the table. He got our leftovers. Why would Bud want to go backwards? I want to go backwards. Bud looking for bigger and better fights, so where he can etch his name in the concrete forever. I don't know, because I really don't look at none of the welterweights since we did clear the division out.
Bulick didn't hold back supporting his fighter. His words spoke volumes. Crawford has already climbed every peak worth climbing, and descending back down is not on the agenda. However, that statement just served to heighten the tension in the tale. Was it confidence or a sign that Team Crawford wants nothing to do with a young lion waiting at 154? Fans interpreted that as both and the boxing world erupted in controversy, because when the coach says something like that, it typically signifies something greater is going on behind closed doors. This rivalry has undoubtedly intensified. Eddie Hearn was fired up. Crawford's refusal evidently did not sit well with him, and his reaction spoke for itself.
Ridiculous. I mean, Boots is the best welterweight in the world. I mean, tell me a better welterweight than Boots Ennis. Impossible. There isn't one. So he's the best welterweight in the world. I mean, we just finished a FaceTime with His Excellency, who asked me, will we make the Crawford?
Hearn's voice conveyed fury and disbelief. He found it ludicrous that Crawford would refuse. But with someone as brilliant and driven as Jaron "Boots" Ennis, Hearn believes Boots is more than simply another emerging star. He's the world's top boxer right now, the person who deserves the attention. His tone was more than just an endorsement. It was a challenge, nearly daring Crawford to demonstrate otherwise. The message was loud and clear. And greatness does not mean avoiding peril. It confronts it head-on. And with that, Hearn stoked the flames, bringing this perspective clash back to the forefront of the boxing world. Eddie's unhappiness did not stop there. After that angry outburst, he went even deeper, explaining why he believes Crawford's decision made no sense. Hearn began by stating what he believes everyone already knows. Crawford's previous opponents simply weren't the same warriors they used to be. He remarked, "A lot of the guys Crawford fought were regrettably for him past their prime. Even though I consider him a generational talent, I think he's incredible." There was no hatred in his comments, only honesty. Hearn acknowledged that Crawford is a generational fighter, but he made an important point. Timing is important. Many of the names on Crawford's resume were already in decline when they met him. It was a subtle jab, implying that Crawford had not yet fought someone at the pinnacle of their abilities. It was not about disrespect. It was about the truth. It set the perfect backdrop for the next name he mentioned, Jaron "Boots" Ennis. And that's when Hearn switched his attention to Boots, and his words made it plain that he believes the future has already arrived. He remarked that the difference is that he is not nearing the conclusion of his career like others are, and hasn't had eye surgery, been in a bad automobile accident, or fought 80 times like Errol Spence. Canelo has competed in 68 professional fights. Ennis is sound-hearted, full of conviction. To Hearn, Ennis is everything Crawford's previous opponents were not: young, swift, and unaffected by time or damage. There are no excuses, no exhaustion, only skill and hunger. This was not a comparison. It was a challenge. Hearn claimed that this is the battle that will determine who is still the best. And as he spoke, it was clear that he was not just marketing. He honestly believed that Ennis represented the future Crawford had been avoiding for far too long. Nonetheless, Hearn did not transform it into pure criticism. He balanced it with respect, demonstrating that his irritation stemmed from admiration, not hatred. He said it isn't Crawford's fault. He would have fought and most likely defeated all of them. Crawford is a generational legend. Hearn admitted that Crawford would have fought anyone and most likely beaten them. He proclaimed him a generational great, and he meant it. But underneath the praise lay a challenge. If you're actually that good, why say no to Ennis? That was something Hearn couldn't get over. His admiration for Crawford further fueled his incredulity, since in his opinion, legends don't turn down challenges. They define them. Finally, Hearn concluded with a dose of business realism and a warning that the story is far from done. He declared that he has earned the right to fight whomever he wants and will only return to the ring for a large sum of money. So, we need to do a lot on our end to make that fight as profitable as it can be. Despite his displeasure, Hearn remained focused. He understands Crawford has earned the right to choose, but he also recognizes that every fighter comes with a cost. His statement suggested that Team Ennis is already planning to make this fight happen no matter what it takes. His tone reflected strategy rather than capitulation. Because for Hearn, this is more than simply a paycheck. It's a conflict that determines eras. He's determined to make it happen. And
everybody want to see.
Yeah.
I want to do it.
Do you respect him as like when he's like, I got a couple fights left, I'm at the end, I'm only trying to get mega fights, so
I understand it, but don't lie or kept to the net and make it seem like I had the opportunity to fight you and I didn't. I never did. You know what I'm saying? And then that one time that I did, we said they called and we said you never heard nothing else back about it. So
right.
I mean, I respect it though. I mean, get your money. You know what I'm saying? Do your thing. But don't be capping on the net.
Redmond did not buy into the hype. Instead, he pumped his brakes. His tone was calm yet forceful, reminding everyone that not every ideal fight is possible. He used a parallel that got folks thinking. Sometimes generations in boxing do not align. It was not about fear or avoidance. It was about timing and perspective. Breadman seems to hint that pushing the matchup too soon risked ruining what could become an epic confrontation. His statements had weight, not because they were loud, but because they came from someone who understands how boxing works. Breadman went on to explain why the Crawford versus Ennis conversation may not happen right away.
At 68, and then when he do it, people move the goalpost. So I don't even want to get into no Boots and Crawford talk. You know what I'm saying? Nobody got into Crawford and Floyd, and Crawford and Floyd is the same years apart as Boots and Wichicombe. Nobody ever tried to make them fight. So I don't want to get into that because I don't really know if it's possible.
He explained it sensibly, pointing out that both fighters are at extremely different stages of their careers. Crawford is committed to advancing to higher divisions, whilst Ennis is still building his career at 154. Bredman's tone was not defensive, it was realistic. He reminded viewers that this sport is based on time, not fantasy matchups. There is still work to be done on both sides before that ideal fight becomes feasible. His perspective brought another element to the story, one that matched excitement with the patience that boxing sometimes requires. The answer was not no, but rather not yet. And just as the argument appeared to be split between timing and legacy, Max Kellerman stepped in and radically changed the tone.
Floyd would have gave Crawford a shot, but he didn't, and nobody cared. It wasn't like it was a duck. It wasn't a duck. It was like they kind of different eras, even though they fighting at the same time. So I don't really know if it's possible, because Boots will have to leave 54, and it's a bunch of work at 54. Crawford will have to come down from 68 and clear out 68, which ain't no guarantee. You know what I mean? It's like too much room. We got to see some more.
Kellerman did not discuss waiting or avoidance. He talked about it with his customary crisp delivery. He made it plain that this is the ideal time for Crawford and Ennis to clash. His argument reignited the enthusiasm that fans craved. Two warriors at the peak of their abilities in a contest that defined an era. He talked with conviction as if he witnessed far too many what-ifs in boxing history. Kellerman's take revived hopes that the stars are finally aligning. It was more than just analysis. It seemed like a call to action. Then came former world champion Shawn Porter, who had fought Crawford and spoke with authority.
Something wild right now. I think Crawford should fight him right now if he's ever going to fight him. If he wants to, if Crawford has it in his mind to fight Boots, you might as well do it now. What did Floyd Mayweather do with Canelo Alvarez? Now Canelo was already an enormous draw, and that's the difference. But he didn't wait till he got super old, and Canelo entered his prime. He got him.
Porter talked with genuine wonder, envisioning what a fight between Crawford and Ennis would mean for boxing. His tone did not suggest prediction. It was about legacy. You could hear the respect in his voice as he compared it to epic conflicts from previous ages. He constructed it such that this would not just be another great battle, but one that fans would speak about for decades. Porter's perspective gave the clash a sense of history and destiny, as if he could already picture it as one of the sport's greatest rivalries. It was adoration coupled with excitement, the kind that only a fighter who'd been there could feel. And as Porter went on, his tone changed from adoration to something deeper, a clear understanding of what makes both men so dangerous.
I truly don't know, because Terence is just
somebody getting stopped.
I don't know. That this fight right here, if this fight were to happen this year, it will go down in history as one of the classic fights that go with the Marvin Hagler and Tommy Hearns, that go with the Ray Leonard and
He described the fight as not simply two boxers colliding, but two dominant men stepping into the same place and refusing to yield. Porter's insight was distinct since he had experienced that reality. He felt Crawford's presence between the ropes. His statements described a mental and physical battle in which neither man is willing to back down. It was not about punches. It was all about pride, control, and supremacy. Porter knew how severe the contest would be. It's the kind of raw energy that elevates a matchup to the status of a moment and then to history. Then emerge an approach that combines sports knowledge with pure boxing IQ. Sean Zittle's imaginative analogy immediately piqued everyone's interest. Zittle broke down the Crawford versus Ennis discussion in a way no one expected, using basketball legends to paint a picture. His example perfectly captured the generational gap and his fresh, explosive energy versus Crawford's honed excellence. It was more than just clever. It reflected how fans perceive both combatants right now. His spark and flair contrasted with Crawford's smooth authority. Zittle's tone was humorous yet serious, implying that greatness is more than just highlight clips. It's about legacy, control, and how long you can stay on top. The parallel made fans wonder if we were watching history repeat itself, except with gloves instead of sneakers. Then came Tim Bradley, who was never afraid to speak his views, and he issued a sharp warning to anyone getting carried away with the Ennis hype.
Such a special fight because you got two alpha males in the ring that are true alpha males. You know what I mean? I was an alpha male until I got in the ring with that dude.
It just
that dude, like, it was like the more he wasn't allowing me to do what he wasn't, and it was like, damn, okay. Well,
Bradley's tone was strong, almost like a wake-up call for the crowd. He made it plain that while he admires Ennis and his abilities, Crawford is a different type of beast. According to Bradley, fighting Bud is unlike fighting anyone else he has ever faced. It's an entirely new degree of peril. Bradley spoke with the authority of someone who has been there and knows what it's like to compete against elite athletes. He wasn't attempting to tear Ennis down, but rather to remind everyone that highlight clips and real bouts are extremely different. His message was simple: the ring will reveal the truth. Bradley's tone switched from furious to cautious, like a mentor who does not want to see potential wasted.
Kidding me right now? Come on, Sean. I respect Ennis. Listen, I respect Ennis. I love his pops is cool. His whole crew is tight. You know what I mean? Like, but who the hell is Spence as Boots fault? It's a different type. Like, you can be riding that wave. You've been getting all these knockouts of all these other different guys, but you've never been in the ring with an animal like Crawford. And when you get in there for the first time and you get hit upside your head and you see that you can't do the stuff that you usually do against the guys that you fought, you know, at the low.
He expressed genuine concern for Ennis's future, saying he did not want the young star to hurry into a battle that will make him appear ordinary too soon. Bradley's statements reflected respect and experience. He likes Boots and knows timing. Ennis is special to him, but he still needs to put his skills to the test before joining Crawford in combat. It was not criticism. It was tough love from a fighter who knows how quickly buzz fades in boxing. His message resonated throughout the debate. Talent is one thing. Demonstrating it against the greatest is a completely different matter. Finally, one thing is apparent. Jaron Ennis versus Terence Crawford is not simply another fight. It's a conflict between generations, youth and legacy, the future and the present. Every voice, from Eddie Hearn's irritation to Crawford's stillness, Porter's respect along with Bradley's prudence, fuels an already raging fire. The boxing world is holding its breath, waiting for the moment when both men decide to settle their differences in the ring. But what are your thoughts? Is Crawford safeguarding his legacy or simply being strategic with his timing? Is Ennis truly prepared to face one of the greatest athletes of all time?
I would hate for him to get in this type of fight with Crawford. You know what I'm saying? I would hate for him to get in this fight and look average. Look average. Because if you go back and you watch a lot of, and he's a spectacular fighter. Boots is a spectacular fighter. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Boots. I think he's next. But he needs to be tested. He needs to be tested.